Hey everyone, this is Adam from Boats by George, and today we are sitting on a beautiful 2022 Barletta Cabrillo 24 UC. This one has the optional Simrad navigation chart plotter installed on it, and the Simrad has a lot of great features. Your depth finder and water temperature is integrated. There's a depth sounder with sonar, fish finder, etc. It's a great piece of equipment. Optional on the Cabrillo, standard when you get up to the Lusso. So we're gonna take you through some of the features on this, okay? Right now we're on our navigation screen. If I press the button in the top left where there's the 9 little dots, this is how you get back to the home screen where all the apps that are available are listed. Most of the time, you'll be in chart mode. Some people like a split view where you have chart and echo down at the bottom. So you can see we've got our, depth finder over there with a view of the bottom, and then we've got our navigation on the other side. Most of the time when I'm riding around, I prefer to keep my eyes on the chart. This bar over here on the right is an accessory toolbar, and if we tap the power button once, we bring up our quick options menu, and this instrument bar button is what will allow you to toggle that on and off. Most of the time I like having it there. Some people prefer to have the full view of the navigation, so you can turn that off just by tapping instrument bar. You'll notice that we've also got a bunch of other quick settings for options, such as night mode, which changes the color scheme if you're boating out at night to a color palette that is produces much less glare, so you can see things on the water better. We've got quick access control to our brightness. We've got a quick access to the settings button, and we can turn our wireless on and off. The wireless is a Wi-Fi setting that allows you to sync your phone with the Simrad app to keep it up to date, register it, upload new maps. You can do all kinds of things with that. So I'm going to bring the instrument bar, oops, tapped the wrong thing there. I'm going to bring the instrument bar back up and take you through some of the features here. So you can actually program this to have anything on it that you'd like. From the factory, it will have speed over ground, your depth finder, your water temperature. You've got time, which we're going to need to adjust because this is a brand new boat and we haven't set that yet. Voltage supply. Voltage supply is the voltage of the battery that the electronics are hooked up to. Now, on the Cabrillo, we have a single battery system, so the engine and the electronics all share one battery. This is particularly useful when you're on the Lusso, which has a dual battery system, because your instrumentation up at the dash, when you look at voltage here, is going to be the voltage of the engine starting battery. The voltage supply will be the voltage of the house battery, which powers things like the stereo, the navigation, your lights, etc. Sometimes you may accidentally turn the source off incorrectly for the depth and the water temperature. So you can change this bar or change the settings on the bar just by pressing and holding on it. So when I press and hold, you'll see that we get this menu that says choose data. And these little triangles over here on the side, when you toggle them, will expand or dismiss any of the features that are in here. So when we look at environment, for example, environment's going to be things like your depth finder, like your water temperature, and you can see that right on the side of them here, they have menu options for each one. So if you look really close, we've got check boxes to what we have displayed on the toolbar over there. So I could even hit a checkbox there, add current set, and you can see that it actually just replaced the water temperature with the current set. Okay, now I'm going to press and hold on that spot and change this right back to water temp. All right, so you would press and hold on the thing that you want to change out. Okay, that's how you would change the settings. Now, looking at the depth finder, if I press and hold here, you'll see that it brings us right up to depth. Okay, and the menu button for depth right here, you never want to mess around with configure device, but you can look at data sources. And in some cases, I found that from the factory, this is what should be selected, the unit itself that says this device. Sometimes there's a second thing selected and the depth doesn't read it all. So you make sure you go in here, check that off, make sure you're on Simrad group, and the depth should show properly. That's the same case for water temp. Okay, if I press and hold on the water temp, all right, we've got this menu here. I can show data sources. This is what it should be. It should be this device, all right? So if you ever get on your Barletta and your Simrad's not working properly, that's one place you can look. Now, button in the top right with the 3 dashes, that's the menu for whatever app you're inside. So we're currently on the Charts app. So if we press this button up here, we have quick settings, bars, you can turn these on and off. These are sidebars. Okay, let me just tap out of this, right? That gives you another second view. Okay, so if you really wanted to have a lot of stuff on there, information, you can put that up there. Okay, so that's the app for that. Same thing when we go over here, we press home. Let's check out the Echo app. Okay, so we're looking at the bottom here. This stuff that we're seeing here is just interference. We got a quick look at the water temperature. The kilohertz is the setting that the depth finder is operating at. So if I press this button up here, you can see that we can actually change the frequency, all right, from 200 to 83. 83 is going to give you a longer range, okay, if the water gets really deep, and greater detail. However, it's a longer wave and it takes longer to bounce back. So when you get moving fast, sometimes that will not register, okay? So 83 I really only find particularly useful if you're just trolling slowly or stationary. You can turn it to 83, and you can see this is where I've changed it in the line, just how much less interference there is, right? Look at how much clearer that is, okay? But for just using the depth finder and not using this feature, I recommend you keep it on 200 because you're more likely to get instantaneous feedback in that regard, okay? When we look at more options, this is where you can really change things quite a bit. We can turn fish ID on and off, okay? So if you want to see where it's actually picking up fish, and you can even turn a beep on there. It will beep and indicate it. There we go. See that? If you can hear that little beep, it's finding quite a bit of them now. I'm just going to zoom in if I can. That little guy right there. All right. And you can hear it beeping now that I've turned that on. So I'm going to turn that back off. Fish ID, we're going to go off. Turn this off, back. Okay. So that's how the fish finder works in the Simrad. Again, we're going to go back to the home screen. Okay, you can set things like alarms on this. So if I hit the alarms button right here, okay, we can go to our settings right over here. And this is how we're going to set different alarms. The first one that's always tripped is no GPS fix. So that will alert you if the Simrad doesn't have a proper fix on your GPS position. We can turn our shallow water alarm on and off from here just by checking the boxes of anything we want to set. Deep water alarm, it will start beeping when you get to that depth or deeper. You know, other things that are in here, anchor depth, we could set, like if you want to have it alert you when you get to the depth that you would want to anchor at, et cetera, et cetera. Most of these things really, like true wind shift, for example, you have to have sensors, okay, that are installed to the Simrad for this stuff to read properly. And, you know, a lot of these sensors aren't built into the boat, right? Like we don't have on our Barletta boats a true wind shift sensor, you know, because that's a feature more commonly seen in sailboats and things like that. But the things that customers use most often are shallow water, deep water, and GPS fix, all right? And you can see your history of alarms right there, all right? So I'll back out of this. The last thing I wanted to go over was the Waypoints feature. So you can add waypoints, routes, and tracks so you can navigate to certain spots on the app. It's really easy to create a waypoint and just say new waypoint. You can put in the actual GPS coordinate if you'd like to, or if I press more options here, you can put in notes about the spot. You can set an alarm for whenever you get within a certain radius of that destination. I'm gonna, oops, I didn't want to save that. Just hit this here, and we're gonna delete right down here in the bottom if you do what I did, which is accidentally create a waypoint. All right. So that's the Waypoints feature, and you know, that's the quick run through on the Simrad. If you have any questions, make sure that you reach out to your sales associate. But this is a great starter guide to operating the Barletta Simrad. So we appreciate you checking things out and watching. If you're in the market for a pontoon boat in the Lake George, Saratoga Lake, Great Sacandaga Lake in Saratoga County, anything north of the Edinburgh Bridge. You know, small lakes in the Adirondacks. We're here for you. Barletta builds an incredible boat with a lot of great standard features and incredible ride quality, unlike anything else in the water. So come check them out. 18 State Route 149, Lake George, New York, 12845. That's our showroom. 2 marinas on the water in Lake George, and a service center on State Route 149 in Fort Anne, where we do most of our storage and service. We got an incredible team over there. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.